Okay, Tuesday, October 6th, I'm Tom Novak with your Bring Me the News and Novak Weather Update. Now, it may not feel like it, and may not look like it, but we do have a lot to talk about in the weather. Not only here this week, as we have some fire conditions that have now developed over the upper Midwest. We're going to concentrate on that a little bit here for this week. But also, we're going to look at a hurricane here that now is developing and will move into the Gulf Coast, the Gulf coastal regions, as we get into later this week and weekend. That's going to affect our weather in a way too. And then we're finally going to start talking about some rain for early next week over the upper Midwest, including Minnesota. Here it is. This is straight from the National Weather Service now. This is your red flag warning for today. Now, again, this is for today, Tuesday, and take a look. We're really focusing on about the southwestern half of Minnesota. Now, keep in mind that most of Minnesota is parched right now. Haven't had much in the way of precipitation here for the last 30 days, and the dry conditions just continue to exacerbate right now. And you start to add this warmer than average weather, and of course the windy conditions, you get the potential for rapidly spreading fires. So make sure you watch it out there if you're out camping or if you're just outdoors at all having a fire. And I think it's not only going to be today, but as we go through the weekend, make sure you're keeping an eye on the fire weather and fire safety here in the upper Midwest. Here's the visible satellite loop. Take a look at this fast west to northwest flow now over the upper Midwest. Yes, we've got air that's flowing from the Pacific Northwest and then over the Rocky Mountains. The air dries out and then it continues east into the upper Midwest, including Minnesota. And not only is it a fast flow, but again, it's a dry flow. And that's why I think we're going to have fire conditions here over the upper Midwest for about the next 5 days or so, at least through the weekend. Now take a look at the temperatures across the upper Midwest. Look at this. Here in the Twin Cities metro, we reached 80 degrees at MSP International this afternoon. And look at this, 80s over much of southern Minnesota, extending west and south into South Dakota and Nebraska. Now it is cooler up in northern Minnesota, but still temperatures above average up there. But yes, there is a front located right here bisecting Minnesota from north to south. And I think this front is going to be playing a role in our weather now over the next 5 days as it kind of situates itself right across from northwest to southeast across Minnesota. So I think between now and then over the weekend, you're going to see warmer air here in southwestern Minnesota compared to the air up here in northeastern Minnesota. And again, we're going to get into that here in just a little bit. All right, looking into the future now, this is Hurricane Delta that has really exploded over the Caribbean, and now it's moving to the northwest, clearly moving northwest towards the Gulf. And of course, it's going to eventually turn to the north and then to the northeast, something like this, as it heads towards the United States over the next 5 days. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is not only because it's extremely interesting, and again, the Gulf Coast is under the gun during this very active hurricane and tropical season, but it's also going to create a block in our atmosphere as this hurricane continues to move north and then eventually northeast. It's going to put a block on our atmosphere, which means much of not only the central portion of the United States, but even the northern portions of the United States. We're going to have the same weather here for about the next 5 days until this hurricane eventually kicks out to the northeast. And then, of course, we will eventually have a change in the weather pattern. But yes, Hurricane Delta going to be posing a role in our weather here in the upper Midwest. And you can see this now as we look at the jet stream, the river of air at 30 to 35,000 feet. Look at how fast the flow is out of the northwest here today. And that is the case as we even go into tomorrow. Fast northwest flow through tomorrow and into Thursday. And look at how this weather pattern stays in place. Yes, this jet stream moves a little bit further north, so that will allow warmer air to surge into the upper Midwest. Not that it's not warm today, it's very warm today. But this hurricane, which you can kind of see down here, is putting a block on our weather, and that's going to keep this jet stream in place not only through the end of this week, but even into this weekend. As you can see, the flow continues to be out of the northwest and west and northwest, and the jet stream, the core winds in the upper levels of our atmosphere are north of Minnesota. So we should stay warm with temperatures above average for about the next 5 days or so, at least through Sunday. Eventually, we get a large trough that develops in our atmosphere as we get into early next week, and that should spell at least a period of rain across the upper Midwest, including the Twin Cities as we get into Monday and Tuesday of next week. But yes, we need to have that hurricane kick east of us and out of the United States before we get much of a weather pattern change here over the next 7 days. Speaking of the next 7 days, here's your extended forecast. Look at this temperature I have for Friday. I'm thinking we're going to surge to at least 80 degrees. In some areas of southern Minnesota may surge well into the 80s. And keep in mind, our average high temperature this time of the year should be in the low 60s, and our average low in the low 40s. We're going to be well above average through the period. Now, I have put the brakes on the significant warmth for the weekend. We'll have to see how this transpires. Some guidances still keep us in the 70s to near 80 degrees, while others keep us in the 60s and low 70s. So we're going to temper the warmth at least a little bit this weekend. But again, temperature is still well above average this weekend. So a beautiful weekend for many of us. And then, yes, I'm expecting at least the potential for showers and, yes, even some thunderstorms as we get into early next week. Well, that's your update. We will talk to you more tomorrow.